Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Salvatus, and I'm one of the co-founders of Load na Dito projects, together with Mayo Meherano. And today, I'm going to talk about Kabit at Sabit, an exhibition, a multi-site exhibition that was held on May 19, May 11, 2019. The Filipino word kabit means to attach and to connect, and sabit means to hang, which can be used to describe both the state, nakakabit, nakasabit, and the act, ikabit and isabit, suggesting the temporariness, transformability, and unforeseeability of the material situation and curatorial scheme. With a reference to the social connotations layered on both terms, the title Kabit at Sabit also suggests our attempt to problematize the condition of vulnerability, insecurity, and instability in Loray's argument about precariousness that is, quote, existentially shared and endangerment of bodies that is ineluctable and hence not to be secured, not only because they are mortal, but specifically because they are social, end of quote. Sociality that our survival depends on is further complicated by the increasingly blurred distinction between the physical and the virtual spheres. Kabit at Sabit took inspirations from the critical consideration of the contemporary precarious condition that is relational and therefore shared with other precarious lives. Through artistic exploration of relationships and engagements intricately woven by the ambivalence of sharing and separation. Through a temporal attachment to an existing structure, how can artistic practice hack the power algorithm programmed by the logics of neoliberal governance by altering social tensions? How can an exhibition create a sphere where art ideas remain in the state of flux and continue its transformation without stopping the movement toward possible transformation of social landscapes? How can we capture and share individual experiences dispersed in space and place as the process of considering precariousness as a condition shared by all? A simple guideline was set and disseminated to artists based in the Philippines via social networking sites. Install an artwork on the exterior of her house, studio, or outdoor space on the last day of the election campaign, May 11, 2019. And simultaneously post photographs or live stream the video of the work on social media sites. The method of making an all-inclusive platform through open call was applied to develop our practice of almost curating. No curatorial selection, no curatorial intervention in the artist's plans, propelled by an intention to tweak the familiar tensions of the curating and the curated. The exhibition was designed to operate on differences and a multiplicity of ideas and pluralism of artistic approaches without engaging in a curatorial habit to create one unified voice. The exhibition explored a way to keep artworks in a direct attachment with the context and the site of production. A total number of 32 artists across the archipelago responded to the call by Kabit, temporarily attaching and connecting, and Sabit, hanging works in various media and forms in their immediate environment. Some of them shared with us their plans and information on the physical locations in advance, while we chanced upon other contributions through encountering their works online with the hashtag Kabit at Sabit. Some works were made fresh to be presented at Kabit at Sabit, while others were existing works brought outside from their studios. The emphasis on temporality induced instinctive gestures, prioritized critical and sincere encounters over perfection and control. The exhibition blurred the distinction of production and presentation. Criticality was generated and shaped through unmediated relationships with a simple raw material ubiquitous in the immediate living situation. Materiality of the everyday objects, particularly the tarpaulin banners of political and commercial printing, was explored by Roniel Compra, Atsuko Yamagata, Harvey Vasquez, and the collaborative work of Pope Bakay, Pincalakal, and Miguel Puya as a connecting point between art and the social environment. The intimate improvisations considered such toxic materials as a colloquial language common to all, thus subversively inserting perspectives to reveal the cultural and social codes embedded in the everyday landscape. As Brenda Fajardo writes, quote, colors and textures of found objects that reflected these realities were used for the sets. It was possible to capture the patina of time and become more sensitive to the aesthetic qualities of local materials, thereby increasing our powers of expression. The colors of chemical pigments and texture of synthetic fiber became a tool to construct a sensible stage for critical reflection on the realities as well as for playful imaginations of a world of multiple connectivities. Folk narratives are central to the social networks of people, where individual behaviors and objects perform certain roles and meanings. In a communally practiced intangible art, continuously repeated and constantly adapted, which takes on a collective character and a conventional appearance. In interpreting the universe, all aspects of life were bound together in image making. The works of Apotropaik X Skylab with Norberto Roldan, Leslie de Chavez, and Christian Tablason with Joel Mendoza problematized the cultural tradition of storytelling and unraveled the power to direct, control, and manipulate the body and mind by initiating and engaging a shared process in which the participants, audience, are encouraged to think, question, reason, and create from their life experiences, as in the words of Fajardo, quote, as a counter-consciousness movement. It necessitates an awareness of issues and the need to destroy the colonial frame of mind, end of quote. This functions as an alternative pedagogical platform for collective unlearning. Lena Cobangbang's recipes hung on the tree. Irma Lacorte's food sharing. Joey Cobcobo's printing workshop disguised as pizza shop, and Melissa Abuga's hangout offered a social space based on the artist's will to offer and share with the neighbors as well as passersby. Exchanges through hanging and picking up shape a space open for unplanned encounters. Interactions and thus collaboration unfolded organically. This resonates with Julie Ewington's reflections on the social space created around the installation in Baguio Arts Festival by, quote, what had seemed a peripheral activity, the incessant percussion accompanying every installation was in fact the very medium and language of social interaction, the shared activity that bound artists from different countries together more surely than speech, end of quote. Against the invasion of political and neo-capitalist interests, the body is increasingly placed under the suppressing regulation. Our task continues to strive for real social change by opposing the patriarchal system in its various manifestations and expressions in Philippine society. And this struggle is not women against men, but women against the male-dominated structures and their institutions that have ruled unquestionably over society. Pam Quinto, Ace Ong, and Grace Lockhart exposed their own bodies. in the street to challenge the social binary perceptions of public and private, man and woman, social and domestic. Embodied faces and eyes in the works of Jose Luis Singson, Gino, Angelo Magno, Enrico Entico, while problematizing the presence of the eye, disrupt the totality of the body as a canvas, onto which social, cultural, and political codes are projected. A collective performance by Buccio, Mitfist, and Miki Luistro using the mirror dodecahedron helmets plays with the politics of gaze and questions the separation of self and the other. The fragmented body suggests the potential transforming into a hybrid, non-essentialized, non-identical assembly of a life, formation of connectivity and collective subjectivity. Kabit at Sabit inhabited numerous places simultaneously and used the internet and social media to foreground each unique place and projects. The location was indicated on Google Map only to reveal the reality of unfeelable physical distance and impossibility of grasping the whole, while the live feed on the social networking site created a sense of assembly in a certain moment, but simultaneously creating temporal disjunctures. This allowed the audience to evade linear paths, one unified narrative and straight logics. Disruptions of smooth flow is a way to hear the silence and to see the covered. The expansion of the virtual space into the physical space is obscuring the distinction between the two. Our body is connected both online and offline sphere simultaneously, which exposes our actions to an ever-increasing danger of vertical and horizontal surveillance, while it can produce a new form of connective action, bottom-up mobilization that occurs when calls to action cascade through interconnected personal networks. Social media was incorporated as a parallel site of the exhibition in order to explore this expanded social sphere composed of complementary relationships within online and offline spaces. Video and photographs documenting the preparation, work, and performance played not only a role in documenting and collating individual experiences, but also developing shared social realities. Accidental encounters were linked by using hashtags and by sharing the post in a nonlinear order prompted some artists' spontaneous participations. The exhibition has no central hub or command structure, and its entirety was rather rendered as formations of parasites than an organizing host. And attention was directed to the microcosm evolving around the living space of the artists. Home was considered as an intimate ecosystem, a fragile ecosystem in which the body is intricately interwoven or trapped. The body is put onto motion. It is through the movement of the body one makes contacts with the surroundings and connects the space of home to a larger context. Thus, the locality is defined through the experience of the body, mediated by languages, cultural social codes, and technologies. The awareness of the fact that our body is equally trapped in these infinite relationalities allows us to think and act beyond the dichotomy of private and public spheres and division of shared and separated. Kabit at Sabit situated itself in this organism of interconnectivities, in its existence solely dependent on the individual motivation to create, as well as the generosity to respond and will to participate. Participations were manifested in various forms, from a mere attention, showing one's presence, to engagement in interactions. Certainly, operating purely on artists' voluntary participation without any curatorial selection is an inadmissible gesture in the curatorial process directed at completion of the exhibition. As a matter of fact, it entailed a high risk for us of having no exhibition after all. And this is where the core of almost curated is located. Curating becomes a form through rhizomatic. In their interdependence of various factors, it is continuous practice of generating interactions, conversations, and energy. It is integration with ecologies of art and society. The scattered individual actions made spontaneous links to be disrupted and then to be reconnected. This constant renewing and recounting and rerouting of this circuit enabled the impulse relay and transformed it into a physical sense of affinity, staying on the threshold of not securely held in a position, but dangerously likely to fall or collapse. Curating may be an instrument in keeping art connected to the actual living circumstance, while simultaneously triggering connecting points to be made in overlapping entities and networks. Key to the sustainable and durable art ecologies is not found in an attempt to stabilize the meanings of art through selection and preservation, but in an effort to consider the ecology as a unified yet open-ended web of all agents beyond the entire framework that categorizes, evaluates, separates, and excludes. A dispersed yet mutual attempt has the potential of breaking apart the ordered space for open possibilities, for reassembling them in a way yet unknown, which will not be measurable and definable by pre-existing power scale. Thank you very much.